Mr. Trump, I'm your supporter, but I gotta ask you this question. What the fuck are you doing giving $40 billion to your buddy in Argentina? And you haven't even given the Americans any money yet.
Sad day in America when all we can afford is some ground beef. Work 40 hours all week and can't even afford a steak. Something going on. Come on now, Trump. Help us out.
And right now, expect to pay about $2,600 more per year per household because of tariffs. This is the new federal sales tax on almost everything that we buy.
I made a video asking MAGA when enough will be enough. When will Donald Trump have destroyed this country enough for you to be happy? And I got over 1,000 responses, and it's still going because they're fucking stupid, apparently. It's mostly just memes of liberals crying or some bullshit or, talking, oh, what's up with your hair, sissy boy, or I have demon eyes or something about my teeth or, something, anything but an actual answer. And those that do answer, he's doing great. He's doing exactly what I voted for. Is he? Let's look and see. Well, first of all, soybean farmers are fucked because Donald Trump has placed blanket tariffs on entire countries, which just says, hey, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And MAGA supports it because they don't know what the fuck a tariff is. Still, they don't know. And the country that's going to replace us selling soybeans to China, Donald Trump's like, yeah, I'm just going to bail them out for $40 billion to make sure I properly fuck all of my farmers that I promised I was going to look out for. And, he'll probably bail them out, but it's not going to fix anything long term. But don't worry, he also gave one of the largest transfers of wealth from the poor to the rich in his big billionaire bill. He raised our taxes and lowered billionaires' taxes. He's made over $3 billion from selling meme coins as president, but I'm sure he's not doing anything illegal like, selling access to the president or taking bribes through them. Oh, the country that gave him, a $400 million jet, he's decided to let them build a base in America because that's what we do now. And even though in Project 2025 it specifically says, Donald Trump has to shut the country down to get rid of departments of the country that he don't like, he's thoroughly convinced MAGA that it's all Democrats' fault. Even though they're trying to save your health care, you would rather sell your fucking soul than admit that Donald Trump doesn't know what he's doing. Anyways, we're all fucked because MAGA is racist. Just ask their young leaders. Did you see those text threads? Those were great.
Watching Donald Trump literally tear down the White House is very symbolic. A White House that was originally built by black slaves, might I add. For years, the propaganda has been pushed that black people were going to destroy America, that black people were uncivilized, that our culture was literally steeped in destruction. And now we are sitting in real time in 4K watching a white man completely destroy America. But one thing it does do is allows for the propaganda to now be unveiled as the lie that it had always been. But just like the original White House was built by black folks, when they destroy this country as you know it, black folks will be the ones to rebuild and lead the next one.
Hello, what's up, good people? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and I hope you're doing great from wherever you're watching this video from, as usual. And welcome back for another interesting video. Now, in this video, I want us to talk about the backfiring Trump slogans and the fact that America is actually now paying the price of just listening to Donald Trump. Words are very powerful, and it's crazy how some words or some slogans can sound very powerful and very patriotic at first, yet end up becoming the very thing that destroys what they promised to protect. And all those Trump's campaign slogans, make America great again, America first, build the wall, they fired up millions of Americans. They became a movement, a symbol of pride, of, like supposed national revival. But today, the same slogans are are backfiring on America or Americans. And the real costs is actually being paid by everyday average Americans, the small business owners, the farmers here and there, and the working class citizens who genuinely believed that those promises were going to be fulfilled, or that those slogans were, going to help revive America. Because, right now, the same slogans that were meant to save America are actually tearing it apart, especially economically, but also socially and even morally. So I want us to break this down. But before we do that, let's take a minute to, just sample what Americans are saying.
Well, all hell is breaking loose for the economic genius of this administration, because the thing that Trump has been bragging about since his first campaign, the thing he swore he would fix forever for Americans, America's trade deficit, is getting worse. The kicker is that it's happening because of Trump's own policies. Since March, U.S. exports have not just slowed down, they have plunged. We are talking about billions of dollars in products that American companies used to sell overseas that are sitting unsold. Why? Because the rest of the world is deliberately walking away from the United States. Hedge fund manager Spencer Hakimian summed it up this way, quote, "Exports have fallen right off a cliff since March. Countries around the world are responding to the U.S. trade war by boycotting American goods and services, another penalty Americans are paying for Trump's tariff crusade." The penalty is not on Trump. Trump's a billionaire. He's fine. The penalty is on you. It's on you in terms of higher prices. It's on you in terms of fewer jobs. And it's on you in terms of a shrinking export market that makes the very trade deficit Trump hates even bigger. Think of that. Trump hates the trade deficit. He says, I want to export more than we import. Why are we importing so much from China? We should export to them. Well, the reason is 50, 60 years of economic policy that said, we want to import cheap stuff from China. We don't want to pay what it would cost to make all these tchotchkes in the United States. We'll get them from China. And so that's why we import more. And Donald Trump's tariffs are making the trade deficit even worse. You look at Canada. Canada is one of our top export markets. In 2024, Canada bought $28 billion in food products from the United States. Canadian stores are now being pressured. Do not stock, do not sell American food products. 71% of Canadians plan to buy fewer American food products this year. Trump added a 35% tariff on Canadian imports, which started August 1st. When you tax their goods, they don't thank you. They respond in kind. They tax your goods or they stop buying them. This is called a trade war. That's how it works.
This is a great point that I forgot to mention. During Trump's first term, when he put tariffs on China, they retaliated and put tariffs on imported goods from the US, specifically agriculture and farming goods. And we had to subsidize farmers over $20 billion because they were going bankrupt. He claims that there was no inflation and claims that there was no financial burden on the United States after his tariffs and our consumers, but he had to bail out farmers who were literally cutting their profits in half because of his trade war that he started. No, we didn't see direct inflation overall, but that doesn't mean that nobody struggled and that nobody was impacted by Donald Trump's tariffs, because they were, and many small businesses suffered for it.
I truly do not care whether or not you can sell your grain to China. I truly don't. This guy in office ran his campaign on tariffs. What did you think was going to happen? Did you think that these other countries, they can't sell quite as many products to us because of the import, because importers don't want to buy them because they can't sell the products because of the markup on them. He ran his campaign on tariffs. What did you think was going to happen? Did you not look up the word tariff to see what it even means? I cannot feel too bad for you. When I sit around and watch these town hall meetings, and these people go, well, Mr. President, you said you loved us. Now we want to see the fruits of your love. What? The fruits of your love? He doesn't love you. He ran to get into office so he didn't get his ass thrown into prison. Which part of this do you people not get?
Who are all these people that want manufacturing jobs that these tariffs are supposed to bring back? Because the last time I checked, Republicans, they all want to buy crypto, they want to sell insurance, and they want to get a podcast. I don't see any of them lining up to work in a manufacturing plant. I've worked at a manufacturing plant, and you could not staff that place with native-born Americans. They staffed it with immigrant labor that we're now deporting. So, who are you?
There's plenty that still have not grasped what a tariff is, but the ones that have are trying to justify it by saying, we're just gonna buy shit made in America now. But we're not. We don't have every raw material in the world to make the stuff that we use today. And we don't have the climate to make every single food that we eat on a regular basis. Trump doesn't even use America to make his merch. We do have a couple people, though, that are regretting voting for Trump, and I'm going to share a couple of their comments that I've seen, because it took you this long. It took the price of your groceries for you to regret voting for him. Whatever works, but let me just show you. Trump promised lower prices. What happened? My whole church was relying on President Trump to lower prices. He lied to us. What kind of Christian lies like this? A man that's not a Christian. What the fuck? I wish I never voted for Trump. I wish you never did either, bitch. What the fuck?
Hey, it's Joe from Georgia. So this is an interesting story here. The Fortune magazine recently hosted the Yale Chief Executive Leadership Institute course. Now, there are courses that tons of corporations send their leaders to, and this is one of the big ones, folks. And these are people at the top of the game. These are people who are like the CEOs of Ford, Gap, Nike, Home Depot, Target, ConAgra, Black & Decker. Those corporations, their CEOs who produce millions of jobs in this country, well, they're saying that the tariffs aren't working for America. And they've seen a very disturbing trend because they're saying that inflation, it has risen for them. And as we see that across the nation, it has. And by the way, they said the biggest problem with that was that it was reversing the trend that was happening during the end of Joe Biden's administration. That he had combated inflation and took it all the way down to 2.3%. Well, it's rising again, and it's making the CEOs nervous. And the manufacturing industry, which has been touted as they're going to bring manufacturing back to America, they said not unless there is investment from the government into the building of these manufacturing facilities. So folks, the CEOs of America, they're the ones worried. And if they're worried and they're at the top of the chain and they know everything going on, we might all should be worried that something's coming down the pipe, and we've known it's been coming for a while.
In case y'all were wondering if tariffs are having a real world effect, I have a story for y'all. So my husband and I, we have a friend in Poland, and he wanted these headphones and like a little gift for his daughter. And it's cheaper, obviously, to buy some things in America. So he was like, well, I'll just buy it and then get it shipped to your house, and then you can ship it to me. And he thought it would just be, you know, like a flat rate to ship it from the United States to Poland. Well, I just got back from FedEx and DHL. Do you want to guess what I was quoted to ship this box? It's two things. FedEx quoted me $214. Express delivery would have been over $300. So I was like, thank you. I'm gonna go check out DHL. DHL quoted me $241 to ship this box to Poland. I was able to chat with both of the workers about what's been going on with people trying to ship things during this era of tariffs. They said it's been really chaotic. People are shocked at how expensive it is to ship things. People are getting surprised with fees. So what most likely is going to happen now is we're just going to help him return these products that were bought, because it defeats the purpose of him trying to get something cheaper sent to him in Poland. He might as well just buy it where he is in Europe and pay extra, you know, rather than have to pay this huge tax. So thank you to the dumbass Americans who voted for Donald Trump.
I really think Trump just said, F them farmers.
Question is, what do you have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal has been benefiting Argentina more than it is them, as
Look,
they are a...
Argentina's fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. They're fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means? They have no money. They have no anything. They're fighting so hard to survive. If I can help them survive in a free world, I happen to like the president of Argentina. I think he's trying to do the best he can. But don't make it sound like they're doing great. They are dying. All right? They're dying.
And there you have it, right out of the rotten orange's mouth. It shouldn't shock anyone because Donald Trump has always been someone who didn't care about United States farmers. Hell, he proved that in his first term. Farms took a massive hit. As reported by the Farm Bureau, the actual amount of Chapter 12 bankruptcy filings skyrocketed. There was a 24% increase of Chapter 12 bankruptcy filings by farmers because of Donald Trump and his trade war with China. And Donald Trump's running that same play again. This is a breakdown from the Federal Reserve of Minneapolis, and they are taking a look at the 9th District and how it holds up to other farms across the country. You can see the massive spike of bankruptcies that are occurring all across the United States. Donald Trump has these farmers literally praying for help. I mean it.
Federal government steps in to save them. Farmers have no one to turn to but God.
Farmers, in my opinion, dear Lord, and it's only my opinion, are closer to thee than anyone else on this earth because we deal with your earth every day. Dear Lord, we're hurting, dear Lord. We can't help what's happened to us.
Excuse the fuck out of me. Did he just say they can't help what happened to them? Hey, Arkansas farmers, I just want to remind you, this is literally what you voted for. You all voted for Donald Trump at a 64.2% clip. I do want to shout out Little Rock, though, who voted for Kamala Harris. Arkansas farmers, when you say you can't help what happened to you, you could. You could. You know how? You know how you could have actually helped this? Pretty damn simple. You could have voted for Kamala Harris. If farmers continue to go bankrupt and lose their farms, this is going to be a huge impact to all American citizens. There's going to be food shortages. We're going to feel it. The prices of groceries are going to go up. This is going to be bad.
Starting to say, I never thought that voting for Trump 3 times would result in me losing tens of thousands of dollars. A beekeeper out of North Carolina says, yeah, I proudly voted for Trump all 3 times. I flew flags for him and put signs for him in the yard. But now I'm out tens of thousands of dollars due to lost federal funding and tariffs, so I cannot export my products, my honey and my wax, to other countries like I could before, and nobody's buying it in the United States. Hay producers in Idaho and Utah that export alfalfa hay to China are now seeing 135% tariffs put on their product, and all of a sudden, they don't have anywhere to ship it. They held it all winter in hopes of sending it off to China in the spring, and now China's not willing to buy. Soybean producers are once again being hit harder than they were in the first Trump administration, and China, for its part, has diversified where it pulls these products from, with Brazil becoming the #1 soybean exporter, and other countries picking up the slack for honey, for beeswax, and for hay around the world.
Okay, so of all those many promises and many campaign slogans, we had, the immigration issue, we had the tariffs, and we had Make America First. So I want us to just try and break them down one by one. And let's start with this immigration issue first. So, which was probably part of Trump's backbone to political rise, even in the first term. So Trump built his campaign on closing the borders, and protecting American jobs. But what did that actually lead to? A massive labor shortage. Weirdly, he promised to create jobs for Americans, but now there is a serious job, shortage problem in America. One that is actually crippling American farmers, small businesses in America, and entire industries that actually dependent on immigrant workforce. So farmers across the country, we have seen this since the beginning of this year, are now saying that they can't find enough people to simply pick their crops. And crops are literally rotting in the fields just because there is no one to harvest them. after what has been happening in the past few months and weeks. And when food is even harvested eventually, it means higher prices on the grocery store for every American, because it means the farmer had to go out of their way to manage to harvest without the immigrant workforce. And we are talking about farms that have actually existed for generations, family-run businesses now shutting down, filing for bankruptcy, and many openly saying that we can survive this, we can survive the onslaught of the immigration crisis. And small businesses are also facing this very same nightmare. Restaurants, construction companies, cleaning services, they're all now short-staffed and struggling. So think about it. The policy that was meant to protecting American jobs ended up even destroying them, because the owners of those construction companies, the owners of those farms have also lost their jobs, have lost their businesses. And because America's economy has always depended on immigrant workforce. You can't deny that, and you can't run away from the truth. Not with a wall. You can build a wall as high as you like, but that wall cannot protect you from the truth, and you can't run away from the truth by use of slogans that fire up people. Now, something else we want to look at here is the America First, and the question is it America first or profits first? So let's talk about this famous slogan by Trump. So Trump supporters, they loved it. They love to hear America first. It sounded like putting the American people before the rest of the world. But here is simply the irony. Yeah? When you look closely, America first didn't really mean the American people first. And here's a perfect example in the last 2 weeks or so. So US farmers, as we all know, have been begging for financial aid during these tough times. We all know they've been coming out to publicly ask for federal assistance. But Trump's government somehow managed to send billions of dollars to help Argentina stabilize her economy, while American farmers are left high and dry, crying for the same money that is being sent, elsewhere. So I ask the question: how is that America first? Because it doesn't feel like America first, because clearly it's not America first. It is the billionaires that were first, the corporate elites are first, his political allies, like the president of Argentina, are first. So meanwhile, the average American, the very people who filled the stadiums chanting America first, are now being left behind. So Trump's administration has prioritized profits, not the people, because I believe there are hidden interest. Even when you look into that Argentina deal, there are hidden interest. You realize that Trump's closest allies have interest in Argentina. No wonder the billions are being fed into the Argentinian economy. He made America a playing ground for rich people, while ordinary Americans watched their opportunities simply just vanish. So maybe it was never about America first. Maybe it was me first. It was Donald Trump first. Now, let's talk about tariffs, because this video cannot end before we talk about this tariff trap. I love to call it a trap. So then comes the tariffs. Remember when Trump declared a trade war on China? And I remember him saying, we're going to win this very easily. But well, look around now. Who really won that war? If you're very keen, if you're very observant. Those tariffs pushed America into isolation, first and foremost. Something economists had even warned about. Slapping tariffs on China, who is your biggest market, and your biggest producer, your biggest consumer, was economic suicide. Yeah? And see, in today's world, especially, there is no country, no matter how powerful, rich, poor, or anything, that can actually exist alone. Every nation depends on trade with others, on imports and exports, and generally, global cooperation. But Trump's tariff, or the tariff trap, made that very hard for America, depending on other people. Other countries did retaliate. China had retaliated. Canada retaliated. Anybody else retaliated accordingly, slapping tariffs on their own, on American goods. And what was the result? Farmers could not export. Soybean farmers in the Midwest, in Nebraska, are left with tons of harvested soybean, but they have nothing to do with it because the consumer market was in China, but now China has decided to look towards Brazil to get soybeans after Donald Trump slapped higher tariffs on them, buying from America. So who ended up losing? It was the American soybean farmer. And it's not about the soybeans alone. Small manufacturers simply could not also compete. And here's the kicker. The tariffs were never being paid by China, by the way. They get paid by the consumer. So if America is having to import steel or aluminum products from China, it's because they need. And so when Donald Trump goes ahead to slap tariffs on imports from China, it means if then the American farmer needs that steel for whatever that they need it for in their farm, they have to pay more. So the consumer ends up footing the bill. So from food to electronics to clothing, everything just simply got way more expensive. So when people go to the supermarket and wonder why groceries are so costly or why their business expenses have just doubled suddenly, it all connects back to that America First slogan. So here we are today, after those fiery, campaign speeches. America is actually now paying the prices of the slogans that were never meant to solve any problems. They were just meant to win elections, just to fire up the people so they can go and vote. Trump didn't make America great again. He made it divided, disconnected, disoriented from the rest of the world. And he made the working class feel so hopeful at the beginning during the campaign trails, and only to leave them very stranded. And because when the smoke finally clears, when the rallies end, when the slogans eventually fade away like they're doing today, what is left is one thing and only one thing. It is the truth, and the painful truth. So America can't isolate itself and expect to thrive in a very interconnected world like we're living in today. You can't build walls high enough to stop economic consequences. There's no wall that can stop America from feeling the pinch of those economic mistakes. And you can't claim America first when you're putting your people last every time. So maybe it's time Americans stopped being moved by these political slogans and start demanding for real leadership that works for everyone, not just for the rich, not just for the wealthy American billionaires. Because at the end of the day, patriotism isn't about the chants and the red hats. It's about responsibility. And that is something Trump's America is actually learning the hard way. Yeah, so that is what I had for you in this particular video. I don't know what you think about this. I don't know whether you agree or disagree. You can as well share with me what you think in the comment section below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends and your family. And if you're new to the channel, thank you for your time. Welcome to the channel. Please do subscribe to become part of us. So until next time, I'll see you in the next video.